So, hey everybody, welcome to Tuesday Tips with Steph and Janelle. Today we are going to be covering effective communication with potentials. So, Steph and I are really excited because this is something that we've really worked hard on. And, a lot of times people will say, how do you know all this stuff? And it's because we're constantly learning. And I learn a lot from Stephanie. And she's constantly growing herself, and I'm constantly trying to grow myself. So we're excited to share some stuff that we have learned and with all of you. Anything
No, I'm excited. I was actually reading just before I jumped on because you can never stop learning. So I'm excited to share. And a lot of this you learn through trial and error too, just kind of learning, we've picked up little things here and there from different people, different books, different things we've heard, and then just kind of seeing what's effective, what people respond to in real life, because that's a little different than, a book can say one thing, but when you actually try it with somebody or you say it in your voice is different. So,
yeah. So before we get started on kind of what exactly we're talking about today, I wanted to remind you guys that I have done a training called What Do I Say? So if you're looking for kind of a step-by-step, somebody's interested, then what do I say? Kind of an exact script, sort of. It's not actually a script. It's kind of just a step-by-step kind of I don't know what to say exactly, but I would definitely say watch that if you haven't already. So it's on my YouTube channel, Janelle Espling. So Steph and I are going to cover more of like specific phrases, mindset, attitude, kind of overarching principles to talking to potentials. And some of this for me has come about just watching different people talk to their potentials and what I think, oh man, I would communicate that so differently. And it's not your fault because you're learning. And Steph and I were brand new ambassadors too, or didn't really know what we were talking about either. So we just want to share so we're all super effective at communicating the message that we all want to communicate, which is helping people get healthy and helping people with their, just build their financial future. So with that, do you want to start off with mindset?
Sure. Yeah. So we want to start with mindset. So again, like overall, this is really the how to talk to people, not what to say more so. So ultimately everything starts with your mindset. Your results for anything, they flow out of what we tell ourselves, our belief system. So if any of you guys have been on my new ambassador training, I think most of the people that are on here have. There's a recording of it on my YouTube channel if you want to watch it, but I go in depth into mindset and I share that picture of the iceberg with the cycle, the mindset cycle. And that's truly where it starts. Your beliefs that you hold about yourself and what you tell yourself influences your attitude, which influences your feelings, which influence what you actually do, your action. And then your action produces either success or failure. And that reinforces what you believe about yourself. So if you start negative, if you start with, the mindset that, nobody's going to have the money for Plexus, or no one's going to be interested or whatever, then that's going to influence the way that you speak to people, the words that you use, the confidence, the posture that you have. And ultimately that will cycle around to probably a negative experience. If you don't have confidence, if you don't speak with enthusiasm and passion, then people are probably not going to buy from you. If you, have an underlying message of, oh, this is probably too expensive for you, then you're probably going to get the objection that it's too expensive. Now, if you flip that, then you're completely opposite. You're positive. You're confident that people need what you have, what you have to say is important. Then that will influence positively that whole cycle. You're more than likely to have a positive experience, have people purchase from you, sign up on your team, and then that produces a positive cycle. So really, it starts with your mindset and what you're saying to yourself. And so we talk a lot about in Plexus that we are sharing, not selling. And really that's the key, because when nobody wants to be sold to, we like spending money. We like buying things. I love to go to Target and find what I didn't really need to buy. But I do not like going to the used car lot and having, the vultures zoom in on me as soon as we get out of the car, because I know they're going to sell to me. So people don't like being sold to, but we like buying. So as an ambassador, ambassador for Plexus, your focus should be sharing with people. And sharing comes out of a place of abundance, not, the opposite of that would be scarcity, a scarcity mindset, or, negative thinking about what's in it for me. When you want to share with people, it comes from a place of caring about other people and wanting to share an experience that you've had with them. I was reading in a book that I was just reading before I jumped on here, they mentioned the idea of having like a hot cookie, like fresh out of the oven, and, breaking off a half of that and giving it to a friend. And I totally identify that with that because, if anybody knew me before Plexus, it's like a well-known fact that I do not share desserts because they are my favorite. Now my sugar cravings are under control now, but I love desserts. And so for me to want to share that experience with somebody else is a big deal. That comes from a place of love. So even this afternoon, I had a Pizookie at BJ's and I shared one with my son, and I would have never done that before, but because I love him and I want him to experience that same joy that I get from having a hot cookie with a scoop of ice cream on top, I was willing to share with him. So I think it changes your whole outset. If you start, before you even say anything to anybody about Plexus, if you start by thinking, I have this thing that is so great. It is so valuable. It has changed my life. I love it so much. And if I could, I would just keep it all to myself, but I love other people enough to share with them. And so when you start there and you start with that mindset that you're going to share with them, you're not selling anything, then it positively impacts all of what you're going to say.
Yeah. I think going kind of along those same lines, when you are talking to someone and you are expectant that they are interested, because sometimes we think, oh, are they really interested? I'm just bothering them. But if you really are approaching it as they are interested because their health is on the line here, you speak differently. If you expect this person's going to order from me, you speak differently rather than like, oh, I don't know if they're going to want to order. I don't want to push them. I don't want to be annoying. And I'm kind of being silly, but I say this from my own personal experience and my own personal growth because I am a people pleaser at heart. And I don't want to offend anyone. I don't want people to feel weird. But I think when you are just so confident that our products, we have nothing to be ashamed about. Our products help people. And my business is not shady. I'm not here to trick anybody. But I expect that when someone comes to Plexus, they're going to feel better and or they're going to change their family's life forever. So when you have that posture, you speak different. Now, for those of you that are new, you're probably thinking, well, I just don't know if I'm there yet. Well, for now, borrow our belief. Stephanie and I borrow our belief. Every Thursday, Plexus will send you a diamond documentary. Watch them every week. You can just watch the Plexus channel, Plexus YouTube channel, watch a diamond documentary all the time. Build that belief in yourself. Watch, I have a testimonials channel. You can check out testimonials. You can look on our Facebook page for testimonials. The more you're around, the more you'll realize that it really truly helps people, and what we have is a blessing. So when you're talking to someone, you talk like, I know this is going to help you. Expect that's going to be a blessing to them. Don't kind of hold back like you're not sure, you're kind of scared. Expect that it's going to help them. And just like Stephanie said, the mindset of, this is for them. Think about it less of you wanting to sell to make a paycheck and, okay, my friend has whatever digestive issue. She's in pain. She's scared because she has to run to the bathroom all the time. I have something that can help her, and come at it from a place of help. Just like if your friend was bleeding and needed a Band-Aid, you wouldn't want to say, oh, I don't want to give you a Band-Aid because you're going to feel like I'm pressuring you to put a Band-Aid on. But no, if you're bleeding, I have a Band-Aid. I'm going to tell you about my Band-Aid. If you want it, take it. If you want to keep bleeding, that's fine. And lastly, just to add to that, don't decide ahead of time what their response is going to be. Because I think sometimes we can think, Steph and I are here in the Inland Empire, California. If you're not familiar, it's one of the poorest areas in the country. Lots of people on welfare, lots of people without enough money, lots of people that don't have jobs. So we could easily say, oh, she's a single mom. It's probably too expensive for her. Or, oh, he's older. He's not going to want to take a bunch of capsules every day. That's unfair for us to do. And when we make those preconceived judgments, it comes out somehow when you talk to people. So we just want to encourage you guys, be confident in what we have, expect that they are going to order, and expect that what we have will help them. And that will definitely come across in the way that you communicate with people.
Absolutely. 100% agree. So we're going to do, I'm sorry, I'm looking at our notes. Be bold. That's a whole separate one. Yeah. You want to go ahead and do that?
Sure. Yeah. So this kind of goes along the same vein, but when you're talking to someone, be bold, be confident, be unashamed. And I kind of mentioned this already, but honestly and truly, this is not how I was to start. I was really concerned with not pressuring anybody, not making anybody feel weird. I don't want you to not like me. I don't want you to feel like I'm just trying to make money off of you. But I think when you come at it from a place of such confidence in what we have, it comes across different. And when you come across, when you think of it as a blessing to someone and you're really focused on them, how it's going to help them, it's different. Because if people feel like all I want to do is make a sale, it doesn't feel right. But if they really feel like I want to know how it's going to help them, it's going to feel different. And if you guys haven't listened to my call, Let Love Be Your Drive, you can search for it on Team Mespling. We could put it in the comments when we post this recording. But that will help you just with your mindset of making it about them. And when it's all about them, I can be so bold with people because I'm not being selfish. This is not about selfish gain for anybody, for me, I should say. So that comes across, and I've seen people talking to their current customers, current ambassadors, and I've seen people say, well, hopefully it'll help you soon. Well, that's obviously comes from a place of like, you're not sure, you're not really confident. Whereas I would say, I know you're going to feel better soon. You just got to give it time, girl. Let me help you. You just be really honest with how you're feeling, and I'm going to help you tweak it so it's perfect for you. And that feels differently, because when you say, well, hopefully it'll help you, then the person's thinking, well, hopefully it does help me. I don't know if it actually is going to help me. Sounds like she's not sure it's going to help me. But when you come at it confidently, they're going to receive it confidently and say, okay, well, I just got to give it time. So be bold, be confident, and be unashamed.
And all of that really starts with you. Like, you guys need to be secure in the fact that you made this decision for a reason. You made a good decision. You started taking a product that you love, and it's legitimate. And you decided to join this business for whatever reason you did, or you decided to start sharing because it's real and you made a good decision. So why would that was my whole, I was bold and confident in the beginning, like kind of, I'm kind of opposite of what Janelle was saying. She was a little bit like, oh, I don't know. I don't want to bother people. I didn't even, it wasn't a second thought, because I was just like, okay, yeah, I made this decision. I'm confident in the fact that, I'm a smart person and I know what I'm doing, and I'm not a part of a scam or anything like that. So why wouldn't people join me? And just assuming off the bat that they're going to join me, whether they're going to try the products or they're going to join the business. And then to kind of circle back around to expectancy too, overall, like, you should have an expectancy that Plexus is in your life for a reason, that the Lord brought this to you for a reason, and that the desires that are on your heart, that He's placed on your heart, the goals and dreams that you have deep down, they are there for a reason. That was not happenstance. It's not chance. And the fact that the Lord has brought this to you guys, He's going to bring it to fruition. There's a reason for it, and you have to expect the blessings that are going to come along with that. And I know for Nate and I, 2 years ago, 2013, 3 years ago, when he was getting out of the Marine Corps, and I had no idea how we were going to make it financially, like not a clue. He just kept telling me, the Lord always provides. He always provides, and He has. And that's ultimately what you have to fall back on, is the understanding that, like, He's brought you to this place. He's not going to let go of you now. He's there forever. And you have to proceed with the expectation that this is going to benefit you, just overall. So kind of not exactly talking about speaking of prospects, but in general, your Plexus journey, you have to expect that this is going to be prosperous, and it will be. If you start with the opposite expectation that you're not really sure, maybe this isn't for you, maybe, and you're always looking for confirmation, you're not going to find that confirmation. If you just start with the expectation that it's going to be a good, positive thing, that you're going to earn the income that you're looking for, then it will be in the end. Sorry, that was a little.
Oh, good. You could preach that, girl. I mean, and we say this, I can see this from watching people kind of drop off that are constantly like, oh, I don't know, I'll try.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see if anybody does it. That's fine. You're never going to really build a true business if that's constantly your attitude. Yeah. And just to add to that, you know, in addition to it being expecting that it's going to be a blessing to you and your family, expect that God will bring you people that desperately need this. You know, if you have this precious gift, God has entrusted it to you, and we're surrounded by people that are in pain, that are suffering, that are crying out for help and don't know where it's going to come from. And you could be the person that is the link to Plexus, and maybe that's it for them. And if you are so scared and so timid, then they may never take that leap. And you just don't know what it could do for somebody else. And it could be that thing that keeps mama at home and not have to go to work, or it could be that thing that keeps that grandpa alive longer so he could be around with his kids. So you just be expectant in what God's doing in your life and in the people around you.
So I know a lot of you, well, all of you on here, obviously on either my team or on Janelle's team pages. And so you've probably seen a lot of us sharing about the Zoom prospect calls lately. We've been doing them for a couple of months. They're super effective. We get on with a small group of people, with the prospects. And really, I think we've both been doing them regularly, at least for levels 1 through 3, so that you guys have people or have something to invite people to. And ultimately, that is income producing activity, period. There is just about nothing else that you can do in your business other than invite people to learn more. So a lot of what we're talking about tonight is how to speak in a way and how to invite people in a way that is confident and direct and bold, and that ultimately gets them on or gets an answer out of them. So we kind of wanted to go into how to invite people in a way that is effective. And I think that goes, that starts with being direct. So do you want to take that point, Janelle?
Yeah, so I can I'll just speak from my experience and my tiptoeing around the issue, because I never want anyone to feel pressured or anything like that. So sometimes I'll say, hey, this, event coming up, if you can make it, let me know. That is so passive. And I know if you're my personality, you're like, oh my gosh, that's what I say every time. But instead, a more direct way to actually get an answer from someone and for them to actually feel like they have to respond to you is, I have a call 9:00 this Thursday. Can you make it? Can you pop on? That's just way more direct, and they actually have to answer you. When you say, let me know, that's my kind of default, and I still do it to this day, and I'll go back and I'll delete it and I'll end with a question, so they have to respond to me. So don't tiptoe because you're scared. Just be bold. If they don't want to do it, they're not going to do it. Your question's not going to force them to be on there, but it will force them to think, do I really want to do this? I have to tell her yes or no, and it's going to make them say yes, or maybe ignore you, or just maybe say no. Or another one would be, if you're talking to someone and they're just not ready yet, you can say, okay, it's Tuesday, good for me to follow up with you. Mm-hmm. And again, so you're putting it in their court, so they know you're going to follow up with them, and they have to answer yes or no. So if they say, no, I need a little bit more time. Okay, how about the following Tuesday? Is that okay? And so it kind of puts a little bit of, not pressure, but for them to actually look into Plexus. Because a lot of times people will say, oh yeah, I'll look into it, I'll let you know. But they're never actually going to do it. But if I know someone's going to follow up with me and I said, yes, that's a good time, then I'll actually look into it. And it will be a blessing to me if I really do. So
you're putting the ball back in their court is really what you're doing. You're just bouncing it back and forth. And I like to say, are you available at this time, for inviting people? Are you available on Sunday at 3 p.m. or whatever it is? And then, if you get people that say, oh, thanks, you go through your whole spiel and kind of you're answering questions or whatever, and you get to a point where it's kind of like crickets, or the conversation is starting to die down. Ask, or they're like, oh, okay, I need to think about it, or I'm not really sure. Be direct in asking them what's holding you back, or what other questions can I answer? What makes you nervous or uncomfortable, that I can help you get through? Or simply, you can even just ask, hey, where's your head at? What are you thinking? Where are you in your decision-making process, kind of? Yeah. And so when it comes to inviting people, whether it's to an opportunity meeting, whether it's to a Zoom prospect call or an online meeting, whatever it is, when you're asking about the date and time and all that thing, that's like logistical. But another point to make sure that you hit when you're inviting people is, first you need to excite them about whatever it is before you invite them, because no one knows what a Zoom prospect call is. Your people don't know what a Zoom prospect call is, so don't call it a Zoom prospect call. I call mine Plexus chats. You can say, hey, I'm doing this quick video chat with my super great friend Stephanie. She's so awesome. She's 27 and retired, and she earned a free Lexus from the company, and I would love for you to hear her story. So you hype up that person, whoever's hosting it. You share a tiny little bit to get them excited, and then you invite them to be a part of it. Because otherwise they don't know what it is. Otherwise they're making assumptions about what that could be, and their assumptions are based off of whatever their previous experiences are. So they're probably thinking, oh my God, you're inviting me to a Tupperware party online, or you're inviting me to one of these crazy meetings where you're going to force me to buy $700 worth of product or something like that. So excite them about whatever it is, and then you can invite them. Got stuff in the chat.
I was following. I was kind of answering stuff.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, again, anytime you're inviting somebody to anything at all, you've got to hype up whoever it is presenting or who's going to be there, because they have no idea what you're talking about. And especially, for those of you that might be hosting, and maybe you have myself or your upline or Stephanie doing it with you, when you introduce that person, hype it up. This is, so-and-so, she's my gold upline. In just, however many months it took her, she is a gold ambassador, and that's a significant income. She has an incredible health testimonial. You brag on that person that's presenting, because that gives people an excitement and an anticipation that whatever this person has to say is valuable, and I should listen to what that person has to say. So.
Okay, I want to address something that was asked in the chat: how to follow up with someone who's interested in the income opportunity of Plexus if you haven't really made an income yet. So just right there, since we're on the topic of, how to speak to people and speaking with confidence and boldness, when I read that, if you sent that to me in a chat, text format like this, or if it came flat out of your mouth, and I don't know who this person is, but I'm going to pick this apart. You're saying already right off the bat to whoever that you haven't really made an income yet. And I would counter that with a question: have you made a single paycheck? Have you earned $1 from Plexus? Whoever that is.
This person's brand new, so she hasn't yet.
Okay. So, oops, whoa, getting some feedback. So regardless, so if you literally haven't, if you're brand new, then you use the person, your upline, like what Janelle was saying. You're edifying your upline first and using their story. Now, if you've been in Plexus for 1 month and you have a single paycheck that was $20, honestly, guys, that's better than the majority of people in network marketing, period, in our entire industry. If you have earned $100 in Plexus at any given time, you are doing better than the majority of people that sign up for any network marketing or direct sales company. So you guys, you have to keep that perspective of what you're actually doing, for one, and be confident and excited about that. And it really comes down to your posture. So if you are I'm trying to make sure I address her question. If you're wanting to share with somebody that, you know, that's interested in the business opportunity and you truly haven't made a single penny yet, then you just get really excited about Janelle, who's going to be on this Zoom chat, and you want her to hear her story because she's had really great success in the business. And I know you'll love hearing what she has to say. Or if you have earned any money, then you'd be excited about it. If you, on one hand, if you say, oh yeah, you know, I joined and I made like, you know, $100 last month, but you know, I'm going to try to do a little bit better. Or if you're like, yeah, I totally, you know, I'm super excited about this. You could totally rock this business. Last month I made enough to cover several of my bills, or, you know, you can tell them the dollar amount if you want to, but you don't have to. But your excitement and your, passion is going to overshadow whatever the actual, situation is.
Yeah, absolutely. And if they have done network marketing before, you can say confidently, I can show you our Plexus compensation plan, and I know hands down you will find our plan is the best, and it pays generously from the very beginning, not just when you get to the top of the company. And yeah, I'm not going to repeat everything Stephanie said because it's perfect. You just brag on your friends, brag on their success. If you're someone that hasn't made any money yet.
And the same goes for products too. You know, if you're a brand new ambassador and you haven't even tried the product, you can still be excited about it. Say, I've seen, you know, 3 of my friends, or I've seen my one friend lose 15 pounds, or I've seen my one friend go from, you know, laying on the couch to now I see her posting on Facebook all the time about being outside playing with her kids. Whatever it is, just be excited about it and use other people's stories, because, you know, most of the people on here can tell you that's the majority of what we do is share stories. So
yeah, and echoing on that, those of you that have heard me, I've said, you know, I had 4 people on my team. I was on the product for a day. So most of the people joined my team before I even tasted the product. So that tells you right there that it's not necessarily about your experience. Yes, you should be a product of the product because you should be sharing your testimonial. That's the strongest testimonial you'll be able to share. But people are desperate for what we have. I had 4 ambassadors. So people that wanted to do the business, I knew nothing, literally nothing. I did not study the comp plan like Stephanie did. I had nothing to say about the opportunity. I just knew people were making money, and it wasn't that, you know, it wasn't like I had to work 20 hours, 40 hours a week to make it. So you guys just share passionately, and that passion comes across. It doesn't even matter if you've never even tasted the pink drink, if you've never even made a single dollar, you can build a team and get customers right away.
Yeah. And I totally lost my train of thought. Oh, well, that brings up a good point of, you know, when you're sharing and you're sharing for other people, if you feel yourself starting to puke plexus, if you feel yourself starting to like drone on and on and on, and you feel like you're going down the rabbit hole and you don't know how to stop, like say someone even just asks you, well, like, hey, what's this plexus thing? I've seen you posting it. What is it? And you feel like you just start talking and can't stop, that should be a red flag to you that you're focused on yourself and not on them. So if you can just take a second, take a breath, and be like, you can even apologize, like, sorry, I feel like I'm talking too much. What makes you ask? Why are you interested? Do you have any health concerns? So asking good questions and getting people to talk to you about themselves, that will direct your conversation better than anything else. And ultimately that brings you back to sharing versus selling, because then you can share exactly what they want to know. You can share with them in a way that's going to touch them. Because if someone asks me what Plexus is, and I start sharing with them about, you know, how I was able to lose 42 pounds, and that's great. Well, they might walk away thinking that it's just a weight loss thing. But if they ask me what it is, and I counter back and ask them why they're interested, and they share, oh, well, you know, maybe they've seen something and they know that it's helped somebody else with rheumatoid arthritis. Well, then I can piggyback on that and say, yeah, I've got several friends that have experienced relief with rheumatoid arthritis, or whatever their symptoms are. I can connect that with another testimony that I've heard before. If I've stopped and focused on them first, instead of trying to spill my guts and tell them all of my story that they might not react to.
Yeah. Kind of piggybacking on Stephanie talking about inviting people to events and stuff like that. the point of those calls, what Steph and I do, that we call them Plexus chats. They're basically Zoom prospect calls. Some of you may have an upline that does them on different days. Stephanie does them on Sundays. I do them on different days of the week. With that, inviting people is crucial, but you yourself getting on there is really important too, because you'll hear the way Stephanie and I or your upline talk about it. And the more you hear us talk about it, the more you're going to start to feel confident in talking about it yourself. You're going to learn, if you've been around for a while, you probably have key sentences or key phrases that you say, but if you're brand new and you're still learning, get on every single call you can, so you know how we explain each product. So you know how we answer people's questions, and when they ask us tough questions, how we respond to that, and our posture and our attitude in that. So I really want to encourage you guys to get on those calls as much as you can, invite people as much as you can, because we do this for you, because we could just do stuff for our own prospects, but we want to help you guys in growing your teams and your businesses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And on that same note, I would love to give Danielle Ashdown a little shout out, because she's been on almost, I think, every single one of my Sunday chats for the last month. And this last Sunday I had horrible reception, and I messaged her and said, can you jump in? And she jumped right in and with confidence, and was able to do exactly what I've been doing, because she's been on whether she had people on or not. And you actually just had a question about that. Love it. Okay. Danielle asked, what if multiple people said yes to jump on Zoom and you follow up with them the day of the Zoom, jump on and no one shows? How do you follow up with them? I've kind of spoken to Danielle about this, so I think it might be more valuable for her to hear what you would say, Janelle. If they didn't show up, they said they were going to, and they didn't show up to a Zoom.
Normally I'll say, hey, I know you said you were going to pop on Sunday. I was really excited to see you. Did you have trouble logging in? And so normally either they might ignore you or they might respond, or I'll say, did Sunday not work out? Could you do next Sunday? Or honestly, it's a lot of questions. I'll ask one question and hopefully get a response. And hopefully that opens up the conversation to what really was the issue. And sometimes, honestly, it's just life. Like, I'm a crazy mom. I say I'm going to do things and I forget. So I would definitely say the key is follow up. Don't just think, oh, they didn't want to come on. They told me yes, and then I don't want to bug them. If they told you yes, they said they were going to come on. So not that you need to hold them accountable, but ask them why they weren't able to come on. And maybe it was a timing issue. Maybe they had something else going on, and then immediately invite them to the next one because they wanted information. They told you they wanted it. They could say no if they don't want to. So that's how I would approach it.
Love it.
Do you want to we can maybe hop back to some of these questions maybe after, and go on to
our words to use, words to avoid?
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. So we've got some words for you to use and words for you to avoid, but I think our list for words for you to use is longer because obviously that's more useful. So just to hit a couple of words to avoid really briefly, Janelle already mentioned one of them, hopefully. So, that obviously just makes you sound like you're not confident. You're not really sure if this is going to work. Hopefully it'll work for you. Instead, you would say, I know this is going to work for you. I'm so excited to see your results. Eliminate the word just. Now, this is really, really hard. So especially when you're following up with people, I used to use the word just all the time. Hey, I just wanted to check in on you and see how you're doing. Or, hey, I just wanted to see if you had watched that video yet. Or, whatever, just using the word just. It totally brings your whole level of confidence down a whole notch. It negates almost everything that you are saying because you're just wanting to do this, or you're not important enough to just flat out ask. You have to hold back and say, I'm just checking in. So it's easiest to do, I think, when you're typing out a message, because if you say just, you can delete it. You can catch yourself, oop, I'm going to delete that. It's harder to do when you're speaking. But again, if you start with from a place of confidence, it helps a whole lot. And then again, we also mentioned expensive, trying not using the word expensive or ever saying, oh, I know it seems really expensive or it might be too expensive for you. Never make that assumption. Just assume that they're going to want the products because they are valuable and people need their health. And because they want them, they will find a way to pay for them. And to hit again, like Janelle said, we live in the Inland Empire. It is one of the most poor areas in the country. And if we just assume that nobody had the money, we would never get anywhere. But poor people spend money on what they want to spend money on too. The people that I went to high school with that might now be on welfare, they figured out a way to get their iPhone. So they figure out a way to pay for their nails to get done every week. So poor people spend money on what they want to spend money on. We make decisions based on emotion, not on logic, not actually based on the budget. So if they get to a point where they believe enough in the product, and that comes from your belief, if they believe that the product's going to work, then they'll figure out a way to pay for it.
Yes, absolutely. I'm going to cover a few tips on things that I almost always say, or words that I want to use, or that I would recommend that you use. I like to tell people a lot when they're kind of just feeling me out, and I know they're trying to figure out, is Plexus for me? I always say, hey girl, I just ask you be totally honest and candid with me. Whatever question you have, whatever hesitation you have, just put it out there. I have really thick skin. I'm not offended by anything. So I just put it out there because I think a lot of people think, well, I don't want to offend them or make them feel like I'm being mean. And I just put it out there. So you want to ask me that weird question or that uncomfortable question, I just say, put it out there. Another thing I always do when people are asking about prices, I always give them all 3 prices. And the reason being is that people want options. And if you give them the retail price, the preferred price, and the ambassador price, it's pretty clear what the better choice is. Why the heck would you pay retail when you can get it preferred? Or why would you pay retail if you could get it as an ambassador? If you only gave them the preferred price, they can easily say, wow, that's expensive. Mm-hmm. But if they just looked at the retail price first, they think, wow, well, that's kind of a good deal. That's like $15 less. Or then they're looking at the ambassador price. Wow, that's like $30 cheaper. That's really a good deal. So you always want to give them the 3 options. It's the same reason why we have tall, grande, venti, small, medium, large. I mean, we're the same way. We want the best bang for our buck. So you always give people 3 options. It's not overwhelming as long as you kind of narrow down what you're saying to brief sentences. Just give them the 3 options. I always give it to them myself. I never send them to the website to look for it. It's way too confusing. They get lost. It's too much information. So I want it always to come from me and in a succinct manner. Mm-hmm. Do you want me to keep going? Do you want to share some?
Yeah, you can do those. I have a little list that I have.
Oh, okay. Cool. So you always, when you're talking about the options to buy, I always highlight that as a retail or preferred customer, you get a 60-day money-back guarantee. You guys, if you're not talking about that every time you talk to someone, you're missing out because people cannot go to Sprouts or whatever, health food place. They don't offer 60-day money-back guarantees. They just don't. With Plexus, it's so easy for them to get their money back. They're not going to, hassle them or try and convince them to stay on the product. All they have to do is call and they'll get their money back. So always mention that we have a 60-day money back guarantee. I always say, yeah, it's such a low risk that it's a great opportunity because you get to try the products if you don't love it in 2 months, which pretty much all the people that have tried it with me have loved it. But if you don't, you always know that you can get your money back. I highly recommend that. So another thing that I always emphasize is how easy it is. So as a preferred customer, for example, I always highlight, it's so easy. They give you your own login. You can log in online. You can cancel it, edit it, change it. It's so easy. You don't have to call anybody. All you do is log into your account and you can change your order at any time. Or even as someone is signing up, oh yeah, signing up is so easy. Let me walk you through it. All you have to do this, click that. Next page, that was so easy. Let's move on to the next part. You want to communicate that this opportunity is not difficult. It really isn't. And so we want them to get that idea, wow, this really isn't that hard. I could probably do this too. Another thing, I kind of sort of mentioned it, but you always want to talk about a huge savings. So especially when people are like, I'm thinking about being an ambassador. I would say, man, it is a huge savings. And sometimes I'll break down the price. If you want triplex combo, it's this amount of money. If you want it as an ambassador, it's this amount. That's like $30. That's a huge savings. $30 adds up over the course of 6 months. And they're doing the math in their head like, yeah, no brainer, I should be an ambassador. The same thing with value. When you're talking about welcome packs, you guys, every single person you sign up should buy a welcome pack. Not only because you get a bonus when they get a welcome pack, but it's a significant discount for them. If they get the $99 welcome pack, they are getting triplex combo, which is a value of $139.95. Or if they get the double triplex combo, that's a huge value. So you always talk about the value so they feel like, man, I've got to take advantage of this because this is a huge deal. That's why when you go to Kohl's, Kohl's annoys me, but Kohl's, they mark up their crap so high and you think, oh, I got a $60 shirt for $5. Oh my gosh, I can't not get the shirt. It's only $5. I'm saving $55. It's the same sort of thing. You have to show the value so people feel that pressure of, well, that's stupid. Why would I do anything else? I should do this because people want it, they need it, and they are getting it at a good price.
Yeah, and so to kind of piggyback on those, I have another list of words that you can use. I love to say, or let people know, especially when I'm more inviting for the inviting language. If it's not for you, it's totally okay. So giving people the permission to say no takes a lot of the fear out of it. Again, that goes back to people's experiences with being sold to. If you just get that out of the way right up front, hey, if it's not for you, it's totally okay, but I would love it if you would support me and jump on this call. And then using the phrase most people, because most people want to be like most people. So if you say most people don't start as retail or don't order as retail because it's the most expensive, but most of my friends, they sign up as a preferred customer first, and then they switch to ambassador when they know that they love the products. So did you hear all the assumption in that? Like, I'm assuming that they're my friend and that they're going to sign up as a preferred customer and that they're going to love it and they're going to switch to ambassador. So saying most people sign up as a preferred customer and then they switch to ambassador when they know that they love the product. You can also, using the phrase everyone says. So, everyone says Plexus is so easy to use. It's just one pink drink a day kind of thing. So that gives them, it's basically like herd mentality. It gives them third-party validation when you're letting them know that everyone says blah, 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 or everyone knows. I like to use this when I'm sharing a fact that they might not have heard before, especially when we're introducing the health concepts of like gut health and inflammation and blood sugar, things that, because we're kind of programmed to reject new information because it's unfamiliar. So if you tell them, oh, well, everyone knows that gut health is super important, and then you can introduce what probiotics are, because you've already triggered their brain that everyone knows. So then they should know that everyone knows that gut health is important. So they're going to assume, they're going to accept that as a known fact. And then you can, I guess this kind of goes into the end, but we talk about always closing with a question. And so I like to use the phrase, I'm curious, as the start of any, of questions. It's a good place to start for asking questions. I'm curious, why did you decide to jump on the Zoom call? Or I'm curious, why did you reach out to me? What are you interested in changing about your health? So being curious about other people opens up the door for them to talk about themselves, which makes them comfortable, and they can share with you, and then you can share with them more specifically what they're looking for. So
perfect. I had two more that came to mind when you were talking. So everyone, Stephanie mentioned that phrase, everyone. So it's a good one to say. Everyone knows that most doctors will tell you need a good probiotic, a good vitamin, and a good omega. And most people honestly are like, yeah, no, I just haven't gotten around to it. But when you put a blanket statement that that's what everybody should be doing for their health, it kind of puts that pressure like, man, I really should be thinking about my health. Another key word to say is when. So when you're ready to buy, these are your three options. Not if you want to try it, because I think a lot of us want to say, if you want to try it. Instead, I want you to say when you're ready to buy, or when you're an ambassador, you have the opportunity right away to make money with Plexus. When you are on my team, I provide all the support you need. You know, anybody that's part of my team, you know that you have me in your corner helping you reach your goals. And when you're an ambassador, I'll be right there helping you with whatever your goals are. So using that word when, it's basically assuming at some point they're going to become an ambassador or they're going to become a customer, rather than using the word if.
And she's saying when you say when from the beginning, when you're talking about the 3 ways to buy, when you sign up as an ambassador, you're going to save a ton of money, and, you know, and then going on like what she said. So using it up front, assuming right off the bat, they're going to sign up when you're an ambassador. Oh, I had another, sorry if my notes were a little discombobulated. When you're inviting, I guess this is a word not to use, but don't talk about the products or start to like vomit Plexus when you're inviting. When you're inviting people to join a Zoom chat, just invite them. Don't start going into what the pink drink is or whatever. If they ask you like, well, like what are the products? Oh, I'm so glad you asked. She's totally going to cover that. You know, Janelle's going to cover that on the chat. She'll do it so much quicker than I could do it right now. Or, you know, she's going to share some really great information. So just invite when you're inviting. Don't go into the products and get sidetracked and down a rabbit hole.
Perfect. The last thing, we've kind of said this a few times, but and I say it in, you know, we've said this in many YouTubes and trainings and stuff like that. Always end with a question. Don't end with, let me know if you're interested, let me know, or get back to me when you're ready. You know, don't take the passive route. You're not waiting for them to reach out to you. You're going to be proactive in reaching out to them. So, can I follow up with you on Tuesday? Whatever the question is, and it could even be non-Plexus related. It could be just to keep the conversation going. Like, I say this all the time. Oh my gosh, your daughter's so cute. She's so big. How old is she now? And it's, again, because you want to keep maintaining that conversation. You're not spitting out all this information and just spewing all this stuff on them. You want to have a conversation. Most people are not going to buy in one conversation. So keep the conversation going. Keep it going back and forth. It doesn't always have to be always Plexus all the time, but always end with a question, because if you're not ending with a question, you're kind of cutting off the conversation there.
And it gives you the ability to dig deeper into where they're at, because ultimately you don't want to be in like the questionable zone. Like, I don't know, I gave them a bunch of information, I'm not really sure if they're interested, if they're not, if that was too much information. But if you're asking questions and going back to being bold, just you know, ask them where they're at, what they're thinking, you know, is that what kind of questions they still have that are unanswered, and then go from there. So I'm all about ending with a question.
Okay, well, I think we've covered all the points that we had planned on sharing. Did you have anything else, Steph?
I don't think so.
Okey-dokey. Well, we hope this has been super helpful for you guys. At this time, if you've got a jet and got to go put kids to bed, get to bed yourself, feel free. But if you would like to ask questions, you can either put it in the chat, or you can ask questions, turn your mic on and ask questions.
Danielle, if you've got someone that has said yes, that said they wanted to get on and they didn't show up, ask them what day or time would work for them. And then we can schedule, you know, a one-on-one one, whether it's me or Sarah. I can't see you, but I'm talking to you somewhere on the screen. But yeah, there you are. Yeah, ask her what, you know, it seems like Sundays aren't working for you. What day of the week would be better for you? Because I know you're interested, so I want to make sure that I get your questions answered.
What if they haven't been interested, and pretty much because I started out with 8 friends on my Facebook, all of them are like technically cold prospects.
Well, she's interested because she said yes, that she wanted to join last week. So you assume that she's interested. Say, I know you wanted to jump on this Sunday, and, you know, go from there. Yep. Anybody else have questions? Whoever said thank you. I love isn't it cute? I just got them done yesterday. There's little there's little stripes too.
They're so cute. I saw them when you guys were talking about, I can't even remember what you're talking about. I was like, what? I need to get those nails.
Yeah, really.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. I'm pretty proud of them. They were previously from convention up until yesterday, so like a month and a half, almost a month old.
That's cute. I thought Amanda Overturf might have done them because I saw Janelle's cute.
You did Janelle's, yeah.
So cute.
I know. Hi, Precious One. She's so cute. I love all the babies. Hello. My boys are at Grandma's house today. Oh, we're recording still.
Sorry, should I not record anymore? Anybody have any more questions? Questions?
I think it's good.
Nope. Okay, well, we recorded this, so we'll post it in the team page, and we'll put the links to the YouTubes that we mentioned, my YouTube, Steph's YouTube, and my conference call, so you guys can catch up on that if you haven't watched or listened to those things already. So hope this has been helpful. We love you guys. Have a good night.
Bye.
Go ahead and